Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 188. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I would like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored, so listen at your own risk. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and we want you to be on it. Go to www.liftheavyrunlong.com, click on the Sign Up Now button. You are welcome to use the app free of charge, and what you will get with the free program is the Lift Heavy Run Long Daily, which is 3 bodyweight exercises every week, 4 barbell strength exercises, and 4 daily WODs. If you're looking for programming for a particular distance or event, then you can go and sign up for the Lift Heavy Run Long Unlimited program for $19.99 per month. And you will have access to all the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer, everything from 5K programs to 100-mile programs to Spartan races to triathlons. I have sitting next to my right my favorite person and the most beautiful and intelligent, hardworking woman in the world, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell Jackton Tan.
Who is not supposed to be here today.
Who was not going to be here.
Yep.
And now she is.
Cancellation, so here I am.
Makes her like Wonder Woman. She saved the day.
Sure enough.
This podcast got immensely better by her presence.
As I was telling Thirsty, it's just easier to have all 3 of y'all gang up on me at the same time instead of just 2 on one. So thank you for helping with that.
You're welcome.
How are you?
I'm beat up.
You beat up? You're a CrossFitter.
I've started back to CrossFit again. This is my 3rd day, and it absolutely just raped me.
Yep.
I'm dying right now.
We both went to CrossFit today. Showed them what time it was.
What gym did you go to?
We went to Olive Branch CrossFit.
So what did y'all do about the bar muscle ups this morning?
Oh, we did them.
You did?
Did
Yeah,
straight
RX.
up. Yeah,
I can't even do a pull-up right now.
with my knee, I couldn't do my
Ring rows.
I did straight ring rows, basically standing straight up, almost leaning forward.
Wow.
It goes away fast. All my strength is just gone.
But it comes back just as quick.
Do
with
you think it does?
I have taken breaks enough times that it does come back. It comes back quickly with consistency.
So you believe if someone is going to start working out and has never worked out before, and they go to the same amount that someone who has been strong and has completely lost that strength?
No, you can't do that.
You can't do what?
Do what you just said.
A newbie walking
I didn't even
in the
finish
gym.
what I just said.
Well, I know what you were going to say.
Well, tell me then. That's Von Rawls, the Reverend.
A newbie who is going to walk into the gym and do the same thing that the other person's going to do. No, you can't do that.
That wasn't even close to what I was going to say, numbnuts. You got to listen.
I'm a numbnut.
If someone has never gone to the gym and they start going to the gym versus someone who has gone to the gym, gotten very strong, stopped going to the gym for 6 months, and then they start at the same time, do you think the person who at one time had been strong will gain strength faster than the person who has not ever been strong?
Somebody raise their hand.
Go ahead, Thirsties.
I do. I believe that to be accurate.
Think so.
I do.
What about you, Vaughn?
I think muscle memory kicks in, and once again, it requires consistency.
I agree.
So putting a brand new, have never done any kind of workout program in their life person that shows up at CrossFit, and a person coming back from a 6-month break who did CrossFit previously in the gym, they're there the same days for the same amount of hours doing the same amount of work. I believe the person that has previously done CrossFit will excel much quicker.
Yes, I agree. But I will throw in the caveat that the person who has done all the work before has to be smart and not try to do what they used to be able to do.
Sure.
And I am the perfect example because I got all excited about CrossFit. And I was like, I'm going to go do this workout. And I did this workout on a Saturday.
You've
or
been
whatever.
broken for 4 days.
Yeah. And so I do like 100 pull-ups and all
What'd you
this
do? Weighted
stuff.
vest Murph last weekend?
It may as well have been. And then it's like 4 days I can't move my arms. So it's like you
Wait,
can't.
is this Canada PTSD kicking in?
Yeah, it is actually. And so if you're not smart about it, like scale your shit, like.
Well,
Just because you used to be a badass doesn't mean like you can be a badass today.
This is an ongoing conversation topic for this podcast in that people have a bad habit of bringing their egos in with them instead of leaving them at the door.
Right.
Well, I accidentally did that today. I can't add on my calculator. I put too much weight on the bar. Like I was going to
That's
reduce
not
the
reverse
weight.
doing that. That's doing that.
Well, he said to make sure and start off low.
Well, just cut everything in half, right? Like,
Yeah, I was going to,
Like,
and
I
then
was like,
can't count.
I think my new plan is to just like cut it in half and see what happens. And if it's not enough, then next time scale up a little bit. But I don't think you have to destroy yourself every single day. I think what you're doing when you do that is putting yourself out of commission for a few days where you could work out for 4 days.
I think when you're trying to get back in the mindset, you should err on the side of going too light and wishing you had done more than doing too much and wishing you had done less.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's where I was today, and I felt good about it.
And that's an okay place to be. I mean, and it's okay if you're still there 6 months from now, even though you've been going 5 days a week. Like, I would much rather, I mean, it obviously depends on what your goals are, but I would rather have the ability to continue working out whenever I wanted to work out instead of accidentally doing too much and sidelining myself for some unknown amount of time.
Well, I immediately went to the window closed. I'm just never going to be strong again. So that was fun while it lasted. And now I'm just going to be the way I am forever. No room for improvement. But consistency will probably help that. But I am a CrossFitter again. Because of today, I can now officially talk to everyone that I know about CrossFit incessantly and nothing else.
Yeah.
Are you still on the train? I know that you had proclaimed that you were CrossFit. I didn't know if that was the magical 4 to 6 beer window that comes with the promises of future dreams.
No, I'm totally on board.
Okay.
I really would love to get back into that scene and then be consistent with it again. But like I said, I killed myself the first day I came and did a workout, and I was like, oh, yeah, you should have. I even scaled, and I was like, oh, just scaled it. I should probably not have even done this workout. I should probably have done something completely different.
Scaled your scale.
You're right, So there's a lot to learn.
How you feeling now? Are you injured?
I am not injured right now, no.
Just a little broken?
Nope, I'm not. I feel pretty good. But I haven't worked out in a week. Thursday, we went to the river and came back this morning. I coached at the gym, and that's about it. I went home and ran 3 miles.
The upgrades on the River House look good, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
It's pimping.
It is
Awesome.
pimping.
I mean, I could live there. I'm trying to get Holly to move. Can we just move there?
I got to tell you, your hung a TV today stud finder jokes never get old.
Right?
I laughed out loud because I did the exact same thing.
There's so
Every time
many-
I pick up a stud finder, doot, 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 pointed at myself.
There's so many jokes that go along with that. You can hold the thing out in front of yourself and be like, beep, 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 beep. Look, it found one. And then, no joke, so I couldn't find the stud finder. So we know everyone in the neighborhood. And so I'm walking across the street and you got a stud finder? And everybody I ask is like, I got one right there. Here's one. Well, she knows. Here's my wife. Let me know. And then one lady actually said, I called my husband, and he said to just ask me because I'm a stud finder. No joke. I heard that like 4 times, and every time I was like,
That's awesome.
There's not so many good jokes go with that. There's one joke that goes with it,
Just
and
one
we
joke.
just love to
But
tell it
everybody
every
makes
time.
it.
How can you not pick up a stud finder and say that? I mean, that's like dad joke 101
right.
for sure. Big Thirsty Brian Swanson, I did not even introduce you back there.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? You were going to say something poignant.
I feel like it is imperative that we use our brand new clapper.
We do. We should.
And not that I want to give up my turn to talk about me for a minute, but I feel like this is an important thing that needs to happen.
I just realized we had one.
That is a shining new class. You know where that came from?
Because we called him out on the Twitters and on Facebook Live and on the podcast. Like, that was in your hands like less than 24 hours later.
Yeah. Delivered to our back door.
Womahawk.
Well,
He has redeemed himself.
All right.
Oh, that's a quality clapping.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
the
an
best
upgrade.
clapper I've ever used.
The podcast gets better every week, and it's because of people like Drew Womack. Sponsors like Womahawk Industries, LLC.
Womahawk Industries.
So thank you very much for that. And we should apologize for Womahawk. I mean, he had people who were taking up for him. There was somebody in the Lift Heavy Run Long group said, I thought this group was encouraging. Basically like you bunch of jerks.
Yeah. He put that joke post out there and forgot to use the sarcasm font, so people didn't realize it was tongue-in-cheek that he was acting like he was upset about it. And
like, I'm surprised that these guys hate you so much. It's really weird because they've been so encouraging to me. It's like someone posting a local race on there, and it's always annoyed me. Not annoyed me, but it's like, this is a international thing, you know? Post away, but you're not going to get anyone because this is worldwide.
It's a tough
than
balance.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance.
so I am covered, not 100% covered, but I've got poison oak.
No.
How
Like
did
around my eyes, on my neck, and like I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt when it's like 90 degrees out because I've got bandages on my arms because everything is bussing. And
is it because all that yard work you did?
we did 2.5 hours of yard work, and it put me out for the rest of the weekend because of poison oak.
Oh,
Like
shit.
I was supposed
man.
So I was fine we were lazy on Friday, and I was fine most of Friday, and I was supposed to get up and run with Dawn Saturday morning, and I woke up around 4 or 5 a.m. just itching uncontrollably.
Oh no.
And yeah, it's bad. So I finally went to the doctor today. They gave me a sinus cocktail, and hopefully I'll be better in a couple of days.
Have you had it before?
I've had poison ivy before, but it's probably been like just small little patches. Like if you saw the pictures on Facebook, like this stuff was eye high.
Oh, I saw it, but I didn't know
You
it
know,
was poison
I love.
ivy.
Well, not all of it was, but there was just some in there, and so we literally cleared out. You know, probably 40 or 50 square feet.
It was a lot,
of flower bed, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was way overgrown. And at one point, I'm just reaching in there and I'm just grabbing stuff by the root and just pulling it out, and I don't care what it is. And so, I got my fingers taped up like I'm about to go into a boxing match because I've got sores on my fingers, and if I don't have them taped up, then they start sticking together because they're
that's
oozing.
horrible.
Dude, you are for real bandaged up like a burn victim.
Yeah, it's bad.
That is awful, man. I feel for you because I get it bad.
I'm highly allergic too.
And the funny thing is like we thought we saw it, and so Katie has like this special soap, that you go in and it washes all the oil off, and so like I quit and I went inside and I immediately took a shower and I soaked myself from head to toe with that soap twice, and then dried off, and I put that towel aside, like so I didn't use it again. And like Friday, I had like a couple of like little itchy spots, and I was like, oh, okay. And then by Saturday morning, it was just, oh man, it's pretty unbearable.
Somebody's calling you out for not wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Well, if it's all over your body, I don't know what would you wear, a jumpsuit and gloves or whatever.
Well, I mean, I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I was sitting, like, we have a stump in our flower bed, and so I was sitting on the stump, and because it was so grown up, like, I just basically sat on the stump and like went around the clock on the stump, just like creating like a 1 foot like area around the stump, and then I kind of moved out from there. And so the chances are that like I reached down and grabbed it and then like rubbed it across my leg as I was pulling it out of the ground.
Yeah.
And so gloves wouldn't have helped.
Well,
completely.
the smallest amount will spread. Hell, Amanda, didn't you get it from being around a fire and it burning?
Yeah. So I live on a
I've heard of
farm.
that.
Yeah, and a guy a field next door. The field, like acres away, was burning. It was just smoky in the air, and I was outside playing, and I got it from head to toe. It was in my mouth and everything. I had to go to the doctor.
Can you get it
and I inhaled it
internally?
in my lungs. Yeah.
Yeah, so Katie says she's so allergic to it that if she gets exposed to it, like it touches her anywhere, she's going to get it like internally too and has to go get a shot immediately.
Wow.
Like emergency room shot.
Yeah.
I've had to get a steroid shot.
And that's, sorry to interrupt, but that's effectively, it's a sinus cocktail. So it was a steroid, Benadryl, and
A long-acting steroid.
and some kind of antibiotic, typically, right?
Oh, it's usually a short-acting steroid, a long-acting steroid, and
okay.
a Benadryl.
Pharmacist knows best. And then they've got me a 10-day pack of prednisone that I start tomorrow. So
Well, I have a mosquito bite on my arm.
so
Get this man
you
some
feel my
bandages.
pain.
I do.
Right?
I understand exactly what you're going through.
I was texting with a friend of mine yesterday. I said, this is way worse than the man flu. Like, I feel, and I truly feel like I'm being a big baby about it, but it's just so frustrating. Like just how, especially because my eye's still watering because of the Bell's palsy. And so that's why I probably got it like a little bit around my eye just from touching.
That's where I would get
up
it the
there.
most. It's around my eyes.
And so I've had to be a little bit more careful. Anyways.
You'll get it on your wiener too.
Don't do that.
Yes, you will.
No.
It was the first place I would always get it.
Really?
That's because you're playing with yourself.
I used to get it like probably 4 times a year, working out.
Yeah,
in
I can
landscape.
imagine you. Well, that's a funny thing is Katie said, next time we hire someone, I was like, I will write that check to somebody
it.
next time to not do this again.
My thought process for 10 years was that I was just going to grow an immunity to it. That I didn't want to concern myself with it because I was going to be around it so much that it wasn't worth the effort of trying to avoid. But apparently it doesn't work that way. And the people that I worked with were primarily Hispanic, and Mexicans. The Mexicans that I worked with would make fun of me and the other Mexicans who got poison ivy because apparently there's something in the pigment of their skin that doesn't
I think
There's something in their DNA.
that doesn't allow them to get it. And so the lighter skinned Mexicans would get it and they would, crack jokes.
Well, I'm as
about
white
them.
as they come, so that explains why.
Well, I was
got that.
wondering if the ginger in you caused you to be more susceptible.
probably. I think you have to be allergic to it, right? Is that the thing?
Yeah,
'Cause I've
because
never had it before,
Katie's dad's not like a dark skinned guy, and he apparently isn't allergic to it. So I think it's just kind of like in your DNA, you like have it or don't have it, or are allergic or aren't allergic, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I'm darker skinned, and I'm deathly allergic.
Right.
But I wanted to. You said something that made me think. You spent so many hours out there doing that.
yeah.
Now you have poison ivy, and you can't do like. I was telling. I hung an antenna for the TV at the river for my mother-in-law. It's a TV antenna, and it just hangs out there. She just wants to watch ABC, local channel, CBS. She's like, if I can just watch these channels, just have that. So I go, and I'm gonna hang this antenna out there. And I started on Friday or Saturday. I must have spent 5 hours, right? And I'm running wires, and then we determined that the wire was bad. This is we ran a new wire, and then I'm climbing up on the ladder and putting the thing, and I was like, I've worked places that they're billing my time at like $135 an hour, and I've spent 5 hours.
That's right.
Hanging this antenna. So theoretically you spent like over $1,000 to do this. You probably should have just paid somebody to do this.
That's
like,
the funny thing.
Why wouldn't you just pay someone to clean that thing up?
Well, I didn't know who to call.
Because Brian
honestly.
Swanson, who has the earbuds from Paradise,
That's right.
who can't afford
somebody to come pull his weeds.
Right. So why didn't you just pay someone to go do
Next
that?
time, I've learned my lesson. I like to do some of the DIY stuff just because I consider myself capable, and not knowing the end result, hindsight, being 2020. Obviously, I wouldn't have done it, but there is something meditative about doing yard work and stuff like that. And so I was just content being out there and doing that and not having to use my brain. But maybe if I'd used my brain, I would have not ended up.
I
with
agree.
There's nothing spiritual about having poison oak on your wiener. So when that happens,
we don't.
You will pay somebody from now on.
I'll let you know. But my point is that I don't think you're a high performing individual. You can let someone else do those things for you. Because if someone goes, I need to hang this antenna out to think, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go do that.
15 years ago, Carol Swanson used this argument against me because she didn't like the way I cut the lawn. So she's like, you, and I was doing full-time consulting at the time, working out of the house. And she's like, you bill out $150 an hour. We can pay Mikey down the street $25 to mow the lawn for us. Like, it just doesn't make sense for you.
No, Mikey can stay at home and I'll mow this yard.
She's like, you're literally losing us money. By
mowing the yard's not a real good example, but the more complicated the problem gets, you're like wanting to figure that out.
Well, so
you know what I mean?
For the gratification.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, so two life lessons. Because you remember a month or so ago, we were having a toilet leak. I've effed with that for probably 4 hours, 4 hours of my personal time, and then called the master plumber out, and it took him 10 minutes.
That's right. You got to let the painters paint and the electrocutors electrocate.
I think you just have to be smart to know when you're going to let it go.
Yep. Right. Which I never am that.
I think you could probably have fixed that, but at some point you were like, all right.
Yeah, and that's 100%. I could have gone to Lowe's. I could have bought all the tools I needed, and I could have finished the toilet repair job myself. But instead, I wrote a check for $110.
Right.
And, and now the toilet's fixed.
Right.
But, once you step into that ring of fire and decide you want to fix it, it's hard to back out and call the guy to come fix it who knows how to fix it right.
Yeah, I was going to make an argument that my ego's not getting in the way, but whether you call it ego or stubbornness, it's probably close to the same thing.
Yeah,
and it's probably my stubbornness that's like, I am fucking capable of doing this thing.
Or it's not even, I don't even think it could be either one of those. Sometimes you just want to figure this out. Sometimes you just want to learn how to do it. Like you're like, how can I figure this thing out? Like
just curiosity more than ego.
I know I could call somebody.
I got to have skills to fall back on during the zombie apocalypse.
That's right. But 6 months from now, we're all going to be like living on the commune, in the LHRL commune, because everyone's going to be sick except for us.
Speaking of doing stuff on your own, did y'all see Brenda Haskell's husband's truck that he bought?
It's pretty badass.
That's totally badass. And if that's your thing, you can get lost in that. And I mean, I bet he goes to bed at night and can't wait to wake up the next morning and go.
And just go tinker.
Yep.
And didn't you tell a story about taking the Suburban's transmission completely apart? Or
I rebuilt the engine.
Rebuilt the engine, yeah.
Yeah. And for that period of time, that was, I've got to have a thing. I always have to have my thing. And that was it. And I couldn't do anything else but think about that. For one, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to spend a lot of time YouTubing and reading and learning. But I would wake up in the morning and just clear my schedule to spend, 12, 14 hours a day on it. And it was great. And now I won't even change the brakes in my car. Just the thought of it, don't want to mess with it. That was fun. It fired up. It was great.
That's a funny thing. A little easier than brakes is changing the oil. Like, my brother has done, he's been out of it for a number of years now, but he's done drag racing for years.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so he loved it, and so knows how to tear down the engine, put it back together, do all the things.
Really?
His first car that he ever bought, like brand new from the dealer, was a 1989 Ford Mustang. And the weekend that he took it home from the dealership, he was at the drag strip doing stuff with it. And he and his wife raced it for 20 plus years, I think, and had a lot of fun with it. Anyways, back to the changing the oil thing. I've asked him, I was like, is it really worth it to change your own oil? And he's like, no, I do it because I love it, not because he's like, and it's the same conversation. How much is my time worth? He's like, it takes me an hour to change my oil. And the cost difference between me buying the stuff and doing it myself and paying somebody else is probably 20%, so it's $40 versus $50. So it's not worth his time to do it, but he enjoys it, so he still does it.
Sure.
Well, yeah, there's satisfaction in it. I hung that antenna, ran a wire outside to it, and then it was just hanging there. And the very next morning, I got up at 7 o'clock, went outside, drilled a hole in the thing, and ran the wire proper out to the thing. So I went out and finished the thing. It makes you feel good to do that stuff. It's not that, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but something's going on over there.
She's letting me know I got the air on. I forgot to turn the air conditioner.
Oh,
Dang it.
I asked if anybody
You
could
could
hear
have
anything.
said that out loud.
But nobody. Well, I was trying to see if anybody could hear it. Nobody's really said anything. Katie has dogs running around, so she can't hear it well.
I don't think anyone can hear it, but that's just me.
They probably can't hear it, but I like to have the air off. See, isn't that much more
It
peaceful?
was cold. in
Didn't
here
notice
It
that
was
it was
cold.
running, but I could now tell
Right.
that it's been turned off, that it was going.
Correct. It's subtle.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way a lot of my audio issues are. There's a difference in good audio that you probably won't even notice
Well, Lisa didn't hear it,
unless it was taken away.
so
Did-
there.
Forgive me if I've told this story before. One of my best friends used to work for Paulina Porskova and Rick Ocasek as their personal assistant. Rick, lead singer of the Cars.
Okay, thank you.
Rick had a
yeah.
music studio built into his house, much like the LHRL studio. And there was a time that they were doing some recording and doing some stuff, and they're playing back the recording, and he's like, "What's that thumping?" And nobody else could hear it. And they tried like moving all the gauges to where you could single out just the thumping. Nobody else could hear it. Long story short, it turned out that there was a picture hanging on the wall, and when the AC was blowing, it was going down behind the picture, and the picture was just coming out, just tapping just a
Oh,
little
wow.
bit, and he could hear it.
Yeah.
But it cost him, my understanding is tens of thousands of dollars.
I can imagine.
To because they were like redoing the batting and like all the things. Like, why do we hear this thumping? And it turned out it was that picture.
Wow, that's amazing.
Too bad they aren't on the level that we are.
That's right. We didn't have those pictures
Cars.
jumping around.
Wow.
So, we had the 4th of July this weekend.
Yep. How'd you celebrate?
Happy birthday to GFO, Gary Owens.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Like Melissa said, leave it to GFO to be born on the 4th of July.
Right.
I mean, legend.
Born
Legend
on
status.
The 4th of July.
That's why they develop fireworks on the 4th of July.
That's right. That's right. It started in 1973 or whenever he was born.
The ancient Chinese prophesized his coming on July 4th. And that's why they
He's
created
huge in
fireworks.
China. He's huge in China.
He's a
you
big
can't
deal in
walk
China.
the streets of China without somebody. If you wear your GFO shirt in China, then
You get
can get
COVID.
anything.
That's
You
why
get,
they made
they'll
him get
give you
COVID.
COVID. That's right. Specially
The
formulated
first
for Gary
American
Owens.
to have it. They were like, well, we must give it to GFO.
Oh man! So Steve Wilk met a friend through LHRL and drove to Upper New York and spent the weekend with him.
That's
How cool
awesome.
is that?
That's
like,
awesome.
People from around the country
Yeah, I
meet
love
each other
those stories.
because of this deal.
That's pretty cool.
Did anybody else do
didn't-
anything cool for 4th of July?
I didn't drive across country, but I drove like across town to come hang out with people I met through LHRL.
Good enough. I'll take it. I shared.
I'm talking about y'all, just so you know.
Well, that's cool.
I went to Sam's house, hung out with Sam and GFO and Kathy, KFO and Melissa,
KFO. And Melissa.
Landon,
What a fun group that was.
Pam.
I told Sam that was a social event that I like truly hated to miss. You know, when Sam asked us to come over, I didn't realize it was a group chat that you were on there. Mm-hmm. And so I responded with, I have to work from 4 to 10. Amanda has to work from, 10 p.m. to 7 the next morning. And then I saw you say, but I'll come over before work. And I thought, man, I sounded like controlling husband. Like, where me and Amanda are not going to be able to make it. I felt like such a jerk when that happened. So I'm sorry. I forgot to even mention that.
That's okay. I'm glad it was a group text because I probably wouldn't have known about it if you'd answered him if it was just you and him.
Probably not. You're right.
I'd have been sad.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have known.
Because he's a controlling husband.
That's it.
Tries to keep you in your place.
I'd keep her in the house.
In real life.
Ladies' places in the kitchen.
Now we know how it goes in the Horrell house.
That's right. Y'all believe that, don't you?
Not even for a second. Can we talk about my vice presidency?
No.
Yeah, congratulations. Vaughn, you made that tweet that you said that you felt the same way in 2016 about Kanye West running for president when you heard that Donald Trump was running for president.
Yes.
I thought, you know what? That's a pretty damn good point.
It is.
It is no more out of the realm of possibility.
Nobody can argue with that.
You know what? 2020 didn't say it was good enough for Kanye West to declare that he's running for president, having Elon Musk immediately back him up and say,
"Go, I got your back, bro."
Or whatever.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Elon Musk immediately said, "Do it."
Oh man,
that makes Kim Kardashian the first lady.
What is
Does that mean Keeping Up with the Kardashians is in the White House?
God.
Yes, that's what that means.
Well, I mean, we might as well go from one reality star to another.
Why not? Why not?
You're fired.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I might vote for Kanye. If he is actually on the ballot, I might go vote. Like, everything is so crazy. Like, lean into it, I guess.
Well, is this something? I'm so far removed. Is that just a funny statement, something that he's doing, or is that something that he's doing? Do you think it's something that
I think somebody like
is it
him
just a publicity stunt?
That's what I thought when Donald Trump said he was going to be the president.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
I thought
Donald Trump has run before, though.
Well, I didn't know that. I was like, we're actually going to elect Donald Trump as the president? And it was like, yeah, we are. And now I'm like, we're actually going to vote for Kanye West?
I think people like that have celebrity in some form or fashion can make a statement like that and then see what kind of back channel responses they get to decide whether they are really doing it or whether it was just a joke.
And then they do it, and they're like, oh, crap, I won.
Right.
And like, now what do I do?
Uh-huh.
I'll just go on Twitter.
And say all the things.
Right.
When is the election?
November
17th, 16th,
Yeah, somewhere around in there.
something like that. Our followers will tell us here in a minute.
Interesting times.
Well,
I got a kick at it, as usual. I'm probably the only one that reads the post when you say we're going live tonight. And maybe I read it because you usually mention me, but
I always mention you
I get a kick
because I know you read
out of
it.
I get a kick out of them. I think they're funny.
I always mention you because I figure that you're probably the only one that reads it. So if I can get a follower, then I'm gonna ride it out. I had like pink eye, I believe.
ew.
So I Googled pink eye.
probably COVID.
Well,
It was
there we go.
It was just irritation.
I had something I had a moment in my chest, and I thought, oh boy, this is it. I've got COVID. Well, then my eyes start itching, and so then naturally I rub them, and then they turn pink.
And like, oh no, now I really have COVID.
Now I have pink eye. So I Google pink eye and COVID, which it turns out that pink eye is prevalent in COVID patients at a rate of between 1 and 2%. And so then I convinced myself that it was that. But I think that really what the problem is, I have a leak in my CPAP mask and it blows up into my eyeballs and dries them out. And then when I sweat, then it falls back into my caveman eyes and just stays there. And so then I have to rub them and then they get chafed. And so then I rub them more. So I say all that to say my eyes are irritated.
You have all these problems and you just invite us into your studio to have a podcast.
I just want to let you know a little bit about what goes on inside my head and how I process
saying that 1
issues.
to 2% of COVID patients also present with pink eye. I think that would be the way you would do it, because you wouldn't do it just regular. You'd do like extra special. Like, I'm not just 1 in a billion.
Yep.
I'm 1 in 5 billion.
Yep.
Type people. Like,
Open that door all the way. I'm
my
bringing
math
the drama.
doesn't add up, but you'll have to trust me.
Me and my drama can't both fit in here.
You're going to have to wear a mask next time we come here.
I put on a mask today, and I think I've started wearing a mask when I go indoors more religiously. I now have a mask in my work truck. I have one in my car. I've never been against wearing a mask as much as I'm just too lazy and too just
That's me.
unconscious, just too like kind of unaware. And I read a thing from Lisa Barker, and it was basically just, her son is autoimmune compromised or whatever you call it. And it just hit me like, why? I know, like, why would I not? But really, why would I not? So hopefully I'll do a better job of that. And we're sitting outside the CrossFit gym, and Amanda's reading her reports. And, it's
not good right now.
It's not.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what this all means or what it all is.
It's unfortunate that more people aren't taking the mask piece of it seriously. There's quite a few graphs out there that show, other countries and how it peaked, sometime in April, May, June, and then it started going back down now. And we had a plateau, but we've extended beyond that plateau in the U.S. So
I don't really pick one side or the other too much, and I don't really know how to think about it, and I'm not smart enough to formulate my own theory, and I try not to do that anyway. But I was in my son's doctor's office, and I ask everybody what they think about it, how they feel about it. And I said the way that I verbalized it was, how do you feel about it? Do you think that this is overhyped? Do you think that it's real? Is how I ended it. And he said, at the time, well, for the, 100,000 families, it's very real. He said, and I've gotten used to wearing the mask. I don't like wearing the mask. I don't like having my employees wear the mask, but I think that you can do the right thing and have bad things happen and be okay with that. Or you can do the wrong things and bad things happen, and that's a struggle to live with. And that was the best way of putting it that I think that I've heard.
It's weird because we were in Disney World when this whole thing kind of started bubbling up, and in fact, we left Disney World the day before they shut Disney World down. And at that time, I would look at someone that had a mask on, and I would go away from that person.
Right.
Like, that person's sick. I don't want to have anything to do with that person.
And now it's the person that's not wearing a mask that you don't want to be close to.
It's like completely gone 360. My daughter has a mask. We buy her these cute little masks to put on. We went to Five Below today, and I took her with me, and we put our masks on the way in. And you see these people that don't have the mask on, and it's like, well, that person is now the person. Stay away from that person, And somehow that makes me some sort of conformist
sheep,
weirdo sheep or whatever. But I just don't want to be sick, and I don't want other people to get
It's
sick.
respectful.
You
It's
know?
just
And, like,
respectful.
and
Do you think it's respectful?
I do.
Well,
I think it's
also-
super disrespectful for people to be walking around while all this is going on, whether they have it or not. It's not a matter of rights. It's just respectful trying to keep the immunocompromised people from getting something that they cannot survive.
Well, I'll go back to the story where I went into Home Depot when I wasn't wearing a mask, but I was just like running into people, and I'm like, I got to get out of here, because people were just not social distancing, and they weren't. They were at the store, and I was like there for what I felt was like a legitimate reason. And now it's like I can walk in the store, and if you got a mask on, I'm cool with you being like 6 feet away from me. If you don't, I'm like, I'm gonna stand here. Today I was at the store, and it was Five Below. I took my daughter there, and she goes, there was a register. Someone was standing at that register with no mask, and then there was a self checkout. And the lady was like, "Sir, you can go to the self checkout, but I have to walk by the person there to get to the self checkout." And I'm just like, okay. I just stood there, and when she gets out of the way, I'll go over there if that's where you want me to go. But like, she just moved. Once she moved, like, then I just went to the regular checkout. It's like the lady was standing there with her and her kids with no mask, and here I am with me and my kid with the mask on. Like, she's like, "Sir, you can go." I'm staying 6 feet away from that person. You know, like, don't we have rules here? Like, even that, if that makes me a sheep, it's like, okay, whatever.
Well, sheep or not, I don't know that my perspective on the world is right, but I don't mind erring on the side of safety to not find out later that I was wrong.
All right. I agree with that.
And that's, the cost of being safe is so low in the grand scheme of things that why not just be safe? Like or, a year from now you can find out you're wrong and somebody caught it from you, or you caught it from somebody, or whatever. It's, and not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, it could happen.
Well,
so
Yeah,
Will the kids be back in school? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wear my mask mainly to keep myself keep everybody else protected from me. Because if I've got it, I want to contain that in.
yeah.
I don't want to give that to anybody else. Not because I am nervous when I walk by somebody that doesn't have one on, but, it's more for my protection from you guys.
Michael Jackson popcorn, Jeff.
Yeah, that was
comments, because it's about to explode.
man. That was that was a crazy feed.
You asked if kids are going to go on back to school. I love what Shelby County's doing. I haven't seen the specifics of it, but effectively they are saying, they put out a survey to parents, and it looks like they're going to give parents the option of your kid can virtual school, or they can actually come to the class. Let us know what you need.
I feel
And they're going to provide like a laptop
The
to
thing
the
is,
kid
though,
if they're going to virtual school.
I feel like that puts a lot more work on the teacher. Like, you have a
Well, I mean,
double-
every teacher's going to have to be basically running a webcam, because like it's going to be just like being at school. So if, you're supposed to be in science at third period, then the time third period starts, your kid's got to be in front of the computer to watch the science teacher give her a lecture.
I still don't know what the solution is for people who can't let their kids do that. Like,
so I've got a friend. She's a single mom. Works at the med. She's
Right.
a doctor. She has 2 young kids, and she can't be home to
Right.
do that. So on the survey, she was talking about they have to ride the bus because I can't get them there, and they've got to go to school. It's like she's
The article I read was talking about that
she's stuck.
enough kids are probably going to be in a position to do it, that it's going to create the right setup on busing and even in classrooms.
so what you're saying is there's enough kids that could do
that
at
could
home,
stay home,
where
that the
people
kids
who
that can't will
go.
be able to social distance on a bus, will be able to social distance in the
Oh.
classroom, will be able to social
Well,
distance in lunchroom.
That's what they're hoping for. Yeah.
That's what they're hoping.
That sounds good, but I just don't feel it'll work out that way, especially in higher populated, like Memphis City schools. I don't know. I just worry about. Even Holly and I, like Murphy. I feel bad for Murphy when she has to stay home, but she doesn't really have to stay home. We can always figure something out, or I can work from home or something. But there are people who cannot let their kids stay at home. under any circumstances.
You're right.
You know, I don't know. I mean, shit. There's kids that they don't even get fed breakfast,
Right.
unless they go to school. Like, you listen to those kind of stories from teachers that are like, I worry about those people who don't even care if their kids eat or not.
And those are the strong arguments for reopening the economy because of how many families are affected by not being able to keep their kids at home. But, anyways.
I don't know.
It's a really sad situation the whole way around for everybody.
I think it is. Don't mean to
Good
be
times.
Debbie Downer.
I was going to say, where do you go with the conversation after that? Just hit the stop.
That's it. Live, Run Long in the books.
Thank you for coming. Next week we'll talk about genocide and how if you're just too weak to get COVID, you're just gonna fucking die. So let's do that.
Do you think this is my last COVID-y type of question? Maybe this will segue into something that isn't that. Is shaking hands a thing of the past?
Man, I really thought it was, but I've shook hands. And I almost do it out of like, I don't even know. It's weird.
I think it's awkward to do it now. I mean, I've shook hands.
It is definitely awkward.
But it's still awkward for me not to. I'm a handshaker.
I fist bump.
And so I've been doing the elbow bump is what I've been doing with a lot of people. But there are a couple of people that I've just shook their hands because I trust what environment they've been in.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
that does depend on who the person is. You know, at the gym,
what do you profile, scan them, and decide whether you want to touch them?
Like we've talked about this, I think, where Brian and I, where you have your circle of people that are in your like neighborhood or whatever, you know, that you're hanging out at the pool with, and you've been hanging out with those people. It was another friend of mine who was saying it's called the circle of trust, right? Where you have a group of people like you guys, like Brian and I go to lunch. I see Brian fairly regularly, and I know I trust him. And he's in my little group, you know, where I'll go and hang out for an hour and chat or whatever. And then I'll go to the pool with my neighbors because we've been hanging out for whatever. I know where those people go. Most of them are working from home. We know we don't have any symptoms. But outside of that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't go outside of that. It's like I'm very cautious. Like, if somebody,
that ultimately we are part of the reason why stuff like this spreads, just because we haven't.
It sounds like terrible logic, but I get it. I'm the same way.
That's the thing. Like, I am saying the same thing, that it's terrible logic, because any one of those people's, like, you're one person in their circle of friends. And then they might have a person that's in their circle of friends that has, and so 3 degrees away, there's accidental contact somewhere.
Right.
Because now, if we lived in a commune, and you know we all only saw each other, then sure, social distancing is less necessary, and we know who the person is that meets the person at the gate to get the food delivery that's dropped off for the commune and all those kind of things. Then. You know, I know them. I know where they've been. If they've been to Kroger, then they've been somewhere that. It's like me thinking. I get the mentality, Vaughn, I know because Swanson. I'm there too. Swanson, you're a good guy. You're not going to give me COVID. I mean, that's kind of like my mindset. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to take that risk, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying I'm clearly willing to take the risk.
But if somebody that I don't know, like the dude that was selling Vivint, they came to my house and knocked on the door. My wife let him into the thing, and I walked out of the bedroom and like, what the hell is the guy
what
doing?
What happened with that? Was he really selling stuff door to door?
Yes, he was. And I was like, why did you let? And she was like, I didn't. It just happened. And I was like, there's no reason some person that I have no.
So you're the person in the circle of friends that's going to give everybody COVID.
That's right. You're the one that doesn't.
You're the accidental contact.
Unless you disclose that to everybody that I've got to tell you.
That was already 2 months ago, and I did tell everybody about it. I'm surprised you don't know about it.
Oh, that's so funny. What is Vivid or whatever he was?
Some home security thing?
It's
camera, like Ring doorbells and stuff like that.
I'm surprised. I mean, I would figure that even on the healthiest times in American history, that you're probably like, Holly, don't let anyone from the outside in our house. Even if it's Wilson, don't let him in.
He was a really good salesman, apparently. I wish you could have seen it, because Holly's standing like where I couldn't see him and he couldn't see me, and she was kind of talking to him, and he was standing just inside our doorway, and I walked out of the bedroom and looked around and saw him, and I was like, looked at Holly, and I was like, what the? and she goes, she like signaled, no. I was about to go run this guy, and I was like, why is there a guy? And she was like, no. And she like made him leave real quick. Like, I don't know. It's just really funny. It's like, there should not be anyone in my house.
A perfect example of the safe place thing. I've got a friend of mine that's a Navy doctor. She just got assigned to the USS Comfort, which is one of the hospital ships. They just got back from New York City.
Oh, yeah.
And she had to take the get tested. Regardless of the results, she had to self-quarantine for 14 days and then get tested again after the 14 days before she could report to the ship. And as soon as she walked on the ship, there's no masks, there's no social distancing, because they know exactly who's been. Nobody's come and gone from the ship in 30 plus days. Like, they know all the things about, and so she's like, it was really weird to all of a sudden walk on the ship and have somebody come up and stand right next to me as opposed to 6 feet away and not wearing a mask and all the things in it. But it's the environment that we're talking about. That is truly a safe place. Right. Like, they know who all's been on the ship and that everything's been cleaned and all the things.
We should get everybody in the entire world tested and do the I Am Legend thing and just leave them all in like one section.
That's an interesting thought.
I'm telling you, I Am Legend, I use that for like all excuses like flu shots. I don't really believe in flu shots because I think that we don't really know what we're injecting every year. So I'm always scared there's going to be a mutation. We're all going to turn into some weird zombie people and kill everybody.
So you don't get flu shots?
I have to for the hospital.
I don't ever get them.
But I am not a believer in them.
It's not because I'm an anti-vaxxer or whatever, because my kids are all vaccinated.
No, I believe in like the basic vaccinations.
I like the way you throw your hands up. Like, let's get that.
Before the hate mail starts.
But the flu shot is just like a big stab in the dark.
We're going to get that already.
So my understanding, and tell me if it's remotely accurate, is like they pick the 5 most popular, most likely strains, and they give you, vaccines for those 5 strains. But there's not to say that there's not 3 other ones that aren't going to come through the community and get you anyways. Right. So you might still end up with the flu.
Amanda, if they come up with a vaccine for COVID, do you take it?
No, I'm not. No.
Really?
Nope.
Okay. So we are not taking.
My wife and I have been talking about it. Yeah.
So
my wife says she won't take it either. Like,
nope.
Why?
Just because the potential.
Because it's being put out too fast.
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, you just don't know. I mean, I don't want to be a guinea pig. They can find somebody else who wants to be tested on it and see what really happens.
You learned it in Contagion, right? Like, you're supposed to know. Like, they have to test those things.
Yeah, but
for
on emergency, but emergency type stuff, the FDA can spit it out there. DEA can just go.
Yeah, but you don't know, like, all of a sudden 10 years later you find out that you took that vaccine and now all of a sudden you're dead.
You got a third head.
Or have some sort of weird thing,
Well, it's just like case study follow-up stuff that they do and document it.
Interesting times.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, we're 55 minutes into this thing. Do we roll into
we need to find something happy to talk about before
we got any reviews?
No shit, no. Well, I hadn't looked, really.
Nobody is listening to the podcast.
I've just assumed.
There's like 18 sitting there. It's like,
you would think with all this quarantine time, people would be writing reviews on Lift Heavy Run
Well,
Long.
we hadn't been putting any content out.
Oh, Holly Trim says she's not allergic to the poison stuff, so I guess she's coming. I'm going to pay her to come over and
you finish cleaning up your yard.
Clean out the yard and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's what you need to do. We got Nugget coming on next week.
Is he coming?
I'm excited about
Okay.
that.
I talked to him today.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, back from Dubai.
That's awesome.
He's in
I hope he has
That'll
pictures.
be fun. He is
Detroit right now, I think. I saw him.
I saw he went to Michigan, yeah.
He's jacked. Like he's been over there.
well,
He probably had nothing to do other than work out and be on the radio, right?
That was the first thing that I said to Amanda. I said he probably didn't have anything other to do, and then I was also like thinking I couldn't even point out Dubai on a map. Like I don't know what there is to do in Dubai.
Wait.
I know it's the richest, isn't it the wealthiest place in the world?
Yeah, one of
Pretty
those.
sure they have like the tallest building in the entire world.
Yeah.
That's what I think about when I think of Dubai is like that big ass.
But he
building.
was pretty ripped when he was here. I mean, he's always been pretty fit.
He's always been fit for sure, but now he's like swole.
Okay.
And maybe the food doesn't agree with him over there, and so
Something agreed with me. He looks
That'll
good.
be a fun conversation.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a talented person.
Yeah.
Is he coming back here like to work and
I don't know.
integrate back into?
I imagine he has family here or something.
Yeah.
And so his thing that he was doing is over and coming back home, maybe to see family. I don't know. Well,
I would think with what he does and as good as he is at doing it and having the resume that he does, he could probably just go anywhere and work
I would
at a radio
imagine,
station,
yeah.
which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's next week.
That's exciting.
Heck yeah.
And so then when we talk, we're going to start doing this every other week. So next week, do we go every other week after next week?
Well, no, he's an exception.
He's
so
an
I would say
exception.
we'll
so then
do-
we'll have essentially 3 in a row. We'll have this one next week.
We'll do this one and then another one if you guys are down with it. If not, it's cool.
Assuming that I can still get out of bed and drag myself here, and that
You can only have so many ailments.
that Katie is willing
I mean,
to cover my
okay.
entire body with bandages for me.
Yeah.
So
So
if that's
you-
what the fans want,
You
then-
good
faked the
woman.
palsy thing. Now you're faking
We talked about
poison
that.
ivy.
We talked about that. Yeah. How much attention does one man
Third
need?
strike and you're out there,
Yeah.
buddy.
it's funny. After the second one this year, my brother's like, "I'm digging a hole for you behind my garage."
He's going to lay you down in there.
Exactly. Just go ahead and crawl into it whenever you're ready. Because, man, I just I haven't learned the lesson that I need to learn yet. Apparently.
So Melissa said Nugget hasn't found a job yet. He's just visiting. 'Cause she's-
Where's Melissa? She's
She's a
supposed to be
super
here. Her
fan.
and Charlotte.
they're coming next week to see Nugget.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Charlotte's a big Nugget fan. Perfect.
Yeah, we, in and of ourselves, are not enough to
I know.
bring Melissa
Right.
and Charlotte out. But put Nugget into the mix, and
Yeah.
we're going to be graced with their presence.
And we'll stuff another person. Talking about knowing where people have been.
Social
we're going to
distancing,
get
yeah.
Nugget in here from Dubai.
He's going to share the couch with you while I've got
Seems
Melissa
like a
and
good guy. He
Charlotte.
won't give me COVID.
Yeah.
I'll bring him in my circle of trust.
Do you have a group text message where you can be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm hanging out with a guy from Dubai," so you can notify that circle?
I can.
I want
could
to.
do that.
Yeah. Well, it should be more or less like a club. Like if you could make Vaughn Circle of Trust.
It'll be interesting to see if
You can
the
always select so many people.
health department can map out kind of the contacts. They always
They
ask.
tried. They tried originally
Yeah.
to do contact tracing.
Be
but-
interesting to see if they do that and continue to try. A lot of it, that we've asked is where do you think, you came into contact? It's the grocery store. A lot of
I
it.
think that's just a default answer that people would
Yeah.
say.
So
I feel like I got it at the grocery store. 'Cause
Right.
That's where I feel the most.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
From,
I mean, nobody's going to say I hugged my mom. I'm sure she gave it to me.
I think I got it.
You're
from
gonna
Von
get it from
Rawls. Here's
somebody.
his phone number.
Bad. Someplace bad.
That's gonna be my answer. They're gonna be like, "Brian, where'd you get it from?" Be like Von Rawls. Here's his
should
phone
all-
number.
I think it's an
Here's
asymptomatic.
his phone number.
And he was talking about circle of trust and shit. He has people in there. Everybody he knows has it now.
He's inviting people into his house. He's got his own little compound.
Vivint.
I think
Ask Vivint how many of their employees have it now.
he's got this home security system so he can see who's coming around.
And God willing, by the time Nugget's here next week, I will not be dealing with this poison oak.
That's contagious by touch, isn't it?
yeah.
I mean, only if the oil or whatever is still on me, which I can't find any evidence of. Because some people say that the pus under the skin helps spread it. And
That's
then
what I always thought.
And then some people say
That's
it's
gross.
just like the oil from the plant that just doesn't leave your body, and you just keep moving it
Well,
around.
Wilson, you go touch him, and we'll mark off that spot with the marker, and we'll see if you get it.
Make sure you get some pus.
Yeah.
Wilson's gonna throw him up
I
now.
love when people say
He's
that
gonna
word.
start
I
gagging.
know. I was wondering why you said that.
Let me know which part of me you want me to rub on which part of you.
The part that has the most pus. Rub that part on me.
Oh, man.
Well, I gotta go take a nap before work.
Oh, me too.
Pussy.
That was a great way to end the show.
Yeah, that works.
We're sorry.
Lift Heavy Run Long, number 187 is in the books.
88.
Thanks for
88.
listening.